At the heart of every successful and scalable business lies one crucial concept: predictable customer acquisition. This isn't a buzzword or a trendy idea. It is the very foundation upon which is true that sustainable businesses are being built. If you can't predictably and profitably bring in new customers on demand, then what you have is not a business. I've said it before. It's a hopeful experiment. A true business operates with systems, not surprises. Predictable acquisition is what allows you to confidently invest in marketing, staffing, infrastructure, and expansion, because you know that for every dollar that goes out, more dollars come in. Now, in contrast, businesses that rely solely on referrals, word of mouth, or luck-based exposure are building growth in quicksand. They might experience spurts of success, but it's erratic and uncontrollable, and more importantly, it's unscalable. When we talk about building a real business, we are talking about engineering a machine that turns advertising dollars into profit with consistency. This is the difference between a business and what I like to call a hobby dressed in hope. A hobby dressed in hope is when an entrepreneur is passionate about what they do, they love their product or service, but they have no control over how or when new customers arrive. They wait and hope isn't a strategy. Hope's not scalable. Hope isn't bankable. You can't build a financially independent life on hope. Businesses, on the other hand, do not wait for opportunities to show up. They create them by mastering acquisition and executing strategic systems with discipline and data. To fully understand how this works, we must explore a basic yet powerful concept in economics. It's called unit economics. Specifically, the relationship between customer lifetime value, LTV, and customer acquisition cost, CAC. The LTV is how much profit your business will generate from one average customer over the full duration of their relationship with you. CAC is how much it costs you in total to acquire that customer through paid advertising, marketing, sales efforts, and associated costs. So let's bring this to life with a practical example. Imagine your average customer generates $500 net profit over the course of their relationship with you. This is after your overhead costs. If you spent $100 to acquire that customer through advertising, then your profit margin on that acquisition is $400 after both your overhead and ad spend to acquire that customer. That's a 4-to-1 ratio return on ad spend, meaning that for every dollar you put into your marketing machine, you get $4 back in profit. Now, if those numbers are accurate and you've found out that they are to be with how you acquire customers, why wouldn't you want to pour fuel on that fire as much as you could? When you figure out your LTV and CAC, you can predictably turn $1,000 into $4,000, $10,000 into $40,000, and $100,000 into $400,000. Now, this is exactly how big brands like Nike, Target, and Angie's List effectively spend over $1 million per day in ads. It's not because they have the thought, let's get a billboard or TV ad up and hope that we get some customers back out of it. They instead have a firm understanding of what every dollar they spend in ads on a specific marketing channel will bring them back in return. And this is the exact point at which marketing transforms from a cost into an investment. This is the math of predictability. It's what gives you the confidence to scale higher, reinvest, and sleep at night knowing that your business isn't just surviving, it's engineered to grow. This is where real businesses are born.
Alright, this is where you probably expect me to pitch you some expensive course, an exclusive community with magic money tricks, or a newsletter that'll make you a millionaire overnight. But nope, that's not my style. I don't believe in selling you empty promises, building my success on your good faith. What I do believe in is giving you real knowledge and tools, the kind that most people charge a fortune for, absolutely free. Why? Because when I started my business, I wish someone had helped me the same way. Now, if you've got a business but struggle with getting new customers, have poor search engine ranking, or need a website or a better website, I'd love to help. Visit www.joshualeebryant.com or give me a call at 423-579-3261. Let's set your business on the path to exponential growth today. Now let's get back to the free content.
Now let's pivot a little bit into Porter's 5 forces, because understanding your competitive landscape is one of the most powerful tools you can wield in your business. Without a firm grasp on who you're really competing with, what threatens your position in the market, and how to gain a strategic edge, you're flying blind. Now, this is where the brilliance of Porter's 5 forces come in. Now, this was developed by Harvard Business School professor Michael E. Porter. And this framework is not just an academic exercise. It's a battle map for real-world business strategy. It allows you to assess the forces that shape industry competition and profitability so you can anticipate threats, leverage opportunities, and build defensible positions in your market. So let's begin with a breakdown of each of the 5 forces. First, competitive rivalry. It examines how intense the current competition is within your industry. Are there many similar businesses fighting for the same customer base? Are prices being driven down? Are marketing messages getting drowned out by noise? The higher the rivalry, the more pressure you face to stand out. Not just through price, but through branding, differentiation, and innovation. A saturated market doesn't mean you can't succeed. It means that your message and positioning must be more strategic and intentional. Second, we consider the threat of new entrants. Every industry faces the possibility of new players entering the space. Now, if the barriers to entry are low, for example, minimal capital is needed, or if there's a lack of regulatory oversight, it becomes easier for the competitors to pop up overnight. Now, this can quickly dilute your market share. However, if you understand this force, you can build moats through brand loyalty, proprietary systems, high-quality content, or unique customer experiences that make it difficult for others to replicate what you do. Next is the bargaining power of suppliers. If your business relies heavily on a handful of vendors or service providers, and they can control pricing or supply availability, you're at risk. If a supplier can raise costs or cut off access without much consequence to them, your business is vulnerable. The goal is to evaluate how much power your suppliers have and, when possible, diversify your supplier base or vertically integrate, which means acquire some of it, to regain control and stabilize your margins. Then we also have the bargaining power of customers, which refers to how much influence your customers have over your pricing and service offerings. When customers have many choices and low switching costs, they hold the power. They can demand lower prices, better service, or added features, and you have to comply. But you can minimize this force by creating a brand and customer experience that's so aligned with their desires and pain points that switching no longer feels like a sensible option for them. Even if a competitor offers something cheaper, when your value goes beyond price, you remove yourself from the commodity race. In this situation, think Apple to Android. Apple products are so expensive compared to Android products as far as mobile devices go. But people that use Apple iPhones, you couldn't probably convince them if you tried for a decade to switch to an Android device, even though they're extremely cheaper, more inexpensive. It's a great example. The last force of Porter's 5 forces that we need to consider is the threat of substitute products. These aren't direct competitors, but rather other solutions that solve the same problem in a different way. For example, a gym might be competing not just with other gyms, but with at-home fitness apps, running clubs, or even personal trainers. Understanding substitute threats forces you to look beyond your immediate category and think holistically about your customers, solving their problems, and why they might choose something else. Your job is to make your offer not just preferable, but indispensable. So now that we've broken down the framework, let's apply it to the real world. The first step in analyzing your market is accurately identifying your competitors. This includes not just who offer the same product or service, but those who target the same customer base and fulfill similar needs as you. Look beyond geography and surface level similarity. Who's capturing the attention, trust, and dollars of your target market? What are they doing well and where are they vulnerable? Once identified, begin to evaluate their competitive strengths and weaknesses. Analyze their messaging, their customer experience, and their presence, and their pricing models, and their value propositions. Read customer reviews. Visit their website. Study their ads. What can you learn from them? More importantly, what can you do differently or better? Use their weaknesses as a roadmap for opportunity for your business. The ultimate goal here is to turn insights into action. This isn't about understanding your competition. It's about using that understanding to dominate your market. Position yourself where the competition is weak. Create value where the substitutes fall short, and differentiate yourself in a way that makes comparison irrelevant. Now, whether through superior branding, strategic pricing, unique service delivery, or smarter customer acquisition, your competitive analysis should lead to a concrete strategic decision that gives you a meaningful edge over your competitors. And I have to also mention that Porter's 5 Forces isn't just a one-time exercise. In using it isn't. It should become a lens through which you continuously evaluate your strategic position against your market and your industry. The market evolves and new threats emerge, but with this framework in your toolbox, you are equipped to adapt intelligently and build a business that doesn't just survive the competition, but rather thrives in the spite of it. And we're going to get into something super awesome here. And that's creating irresistible lead magnets and killer offers for your business. So let's get one thing straight. Your business will live and die by the strength of your offer. Not your logo, not your branding, not even how good your actual product or service is. If your offer sucks, nothing else matters. You can spend all the money in the world on ads, content, or SEO, but if your offer does not make someone stop in their tracks and think, I'd be stupid not to take this. Your offer needs to be as serious as a heart attack. Think about that. Visceral. If your offer is not as serious as a heart attack to stop someone in their tracks, you are wasting your time and burning cash. On the flip side, if your offer is magnetic, if it's structured so well that it punches your prospects' pain points in the face and promises a dream outcome, they will chase you down, credit card in hand, saying, take my money, I'm begging you to buy. I promise. That's where your lead magnet comes in. A high-value lead magnet isn't just some dusty old PDF checklist or a boring ebook no one reads. It's the bait that starts the relationship. It's the moment that you start the psychological transaction of, I give you something valuable up front, and now you see me as the expert who can help solve your bigger problems, as long as you actually can. You can't make it up. This is not where you hold back. This is where you over-deliver. Your lead magnet must be so good it feels like it should have cost money. And if this doesn't make your audience think, wow, if this is what they're giving away for free, imagine what their paid stuff is like, then it's not good enough. So what makes a lead magnet effective? First, it needs to solve one specific painful and urgent problem. Not 10 problems, not 20. One, being specific is key here. You also want to deliver a fast result or a quick win. People don't want a 50-page manifesto. They want a cheat code. And third, it must position your paid offer as the natural next step. You're not just giving information away for free. You're setting the stage for what comes next. Think cheat sheets, plug and play templates, calculators, audits, swipe files, or short video trainings. For example, if you're a real estate agency, don't give away a house buying 101 guide. That's noise. Give away a 7-minute home buyer's checklist that uncovers the number one reason you should not buy the house and how to find your dream home. That's specific. It's sexy. That's what gets leads. Now let's talk about crafting an irresistible offer. One that people feel that they would be foolish to pass up. That's the key here. A killer offer starts by getting painfully intimate with your customers' problems and desires. What are they waking up in the middle of the night thinking about? What do they wish they could have solved yesterday? Your offer is not just your product or service. It's the outcome that you're promising and the vehicle you're delivering it in. If you understand your prospective customer better than they understand themselves, you can engineer an offer that speaks to their soul. But knowing what they want isn't enough. You've got to wrap it up in the right psychology. Urgency and scarcity are not manipulative if they're based in truth. People are hardwired to act when they feel like something's slipping away. You must give them a reason to move now, not later. That means limited spots, time-sensitive bonuses, price increases, or enrollment deadlines. This week only should be a real thing, not a fake thing. Only 10 strategy calls left this month should be a real thing, not a fake thing. You don't just say the offer is valuable, you prove it by making it exclusive and perishable. Here's the formula that works again and again. Identify your audience's deepest pain, present a clear, fast solution to that pain, make the offer so darn good it hurts, stack on value, bonuses, guarantees, resources, and then add urgency and scarcity so they must act now. This has worked for hundreds of years. Yes, hundreds of years. And this takes your offer from being ignored to being irresistible when it's done right. And that's how you turn cold strangers into hot leads and red hot buyers begging you to let them buy. In this new economy, the winners aren't the ones with the biggest ad budgets. The winners are the ones who understand how to package and present value in a way that stops the scroll, grabs attention, and demands action. Lead magnets start the conversation and offers close the deal. Master both of these things and you will never have a lead or sales problem again. Now, I think it's important that we start to talk about your website a little bit. Your website is not just a digital brochure. It is the central nervous system, the brain of your entire business, your entire marketing strategy. Every campaign, every ad, every piece of content, every email you send, and every social media post that you create ultimately has one goal. And that's to drive qualified traffic. Sorry, I had to your website where the conversions happen. Whether it's capturing a lead, generating a sale, or booking a consultation, your website is where the transaction begins. It must be designed with intention, strategy, and precision. If your website is ineffective, every dollar you spend on marketing is like pouring water into a leaky bucket. It doesn't matter how great your offer is or how skilled your ad targeting may be. If the destination is not optimized for conversions, you are losing the battle before it even begins. I mean, this is important. It drives me crazy. One of the most common mistakes business owners make is treating their website like an afterthought. Something they put together once and forgot all about afterwards. And many websites are built based on what the owner thinks looks good instead of what's proven to convert. Look, in business, if you want to be successful, you have to shut your emotional side of your brain down a lot and focus on data. We here care about data. Yes, I care about your feelings too, but what I really care about is making you money. I care about making my clients money because their feelings are going to be feeling a little happier with more money in their pockets. I promise. Better profit margins, happier clients, happier people. It's just we've got to shut our emotions down sometimes as business owners and focus on data. So with this, we need to focus on making changes on websites and building websites that are proven to convert rather than what we think looks good. A lot of other types of websites are overloaded with text, missing clear direction, or fail to connect with customer pain points. And some websites still rely on outdated, clunky designs that don't load well on mobile devices or fail to display properly across different screen sizes. And others are even filled with generic language that could apply to any business, leaving potential customers confused about why they should choose you specifically. And the result is high bounce rates and low conversion rates and wasted opportunity and business owners that think that websites can't generate business at all. To turn your website into a high converting machine, you must build it around a clear purpose to guide visitors towards a desired action. This is where strategic call to actions become critical. A CTA isn't just a button, it's an invitation. It should be clear, compelling, and strategically placed throughout your site. Now, whether it's schedule your free consultation or download the free guide or get started today, your CTA must speak directly to the needs and desires of your ideal customer and be impossible to miss. A great website gently but persistently nudges the visitor to take the next step. Next, your design must be high quality and responsive. A responsive design that ensures that your website adapts seamlessly to any device. Desktop, tablet, or smartphone. Have you seen websites that look great on desktop and god-awful on mobile? This is what I'm talking about. And in today's mobile-first world, if your site isn't mobile optimized, you are alienating a large portion of your audience and traffic. All the tests that I run say on average 65 to 70% of all website traffic is coming from mobile. So if my mobile sites didn't look as good as my desktop sites, could you imagine what would happen to my conversion rates for my clients? But I also have to mention that responsiveness isn't just about layout, it's also about functionality. Navigation should feel smooth, be smooth, buttons should be tappable on any screen size. The visual design should convey professionalism and align with your brand identity. Using clean layouts, thoughtful colors, and consistent fonts to build trust and credibility. Now, speaking of trust, your site also needs strong trust signals and social proof, because in an era of skepticism and endless options, consumers are constantly scanning for reassurance. And this is why testimonials, reviews, certifications, awards, client logos, case studies, and guarantees are essential. These elements serve as third-party validation, signaling to the visitor that others have trusted you and had a great experience with your business. Social proof reduces friction, eases uncertainty, and significantly increases conversion rates by answering the unspoken question, can I trust this business with my time and money? If you were a potential customer looking at your business's website, would you be able to conclusively say that I can trust this business with my time and money just based 100% off of what they see on your website? If you turn your emotional side of the brain that's connected to your business off, can you look at it from a non-biased perspective, turn off the confirmation, halo biases, and other cognitive biases, and objectively look at your website and say that with strength? If not, you might need to do some thinking about what we could do to change this, right? Another non-negotiable about your website has to do with speed, because slow loading websites are one of the fastest ways to lose potential customers. Countless studies show that even a 1-second delay of page loading can lead to a substantial drop in conversions. Speed impacts not only user experience, but also your search engine rankings. Google penalizes slow websites, which means less visibility, less traffic, and fewer opportunities. Optimize your images, clean up your code, use fast and secure hosting, not the cheapest. You don't care about the cheapest, you care about fast and secure, and also continually test your site's performance to ensure that you're delivering a frictionless experience. Ultimately, your website must be treated as a living, breathing asset, one that evolves alongside your business, reflects your professionalism, and acts as the most powerful tool in your marketing arsenal. When your site is optimized for conversions, every marketing effort becomes more effective. You gain more leads, make more sales, and ultimately build a business that scales not by luck, but by smart strategic design. If you want predictable and profitable growth, your website cannot just be good enough. It must be built and designed to convert, which slides us right into effective email and SMS nurture campaigns. The vast majority of your leads won't buy on the first touch. Research suggests 8 touches, not because they don't need what you offer, but because buying decisions don't always happen in an instant. People need time. They need to feel trust. They need reassurance. They need repeated exposure to your message, your authority, and your solution, especially depending on how big of a buying decision it is. Of course, this is different than a candy bar or a donut. If I drive by a Krispy Kreme, I'm like, donut. I'd like a donut. I buy donut. Josh needs donut. But if I'm considering buying a new car or something, I'm like, I drive by a car lot. I'm like, I see cars, but I have to do research on cars before Josh buys cars. You get what I'm saying? A lot of research. The bigger the purchase, the more research. The bigger the purchase, the bigger the nurturing campaign. Does it make sense? People aren't robots. This is where your authority and your solution comes in. This is also why consistent follow-up is not just important, it's absolutely essential. And without it, leaving a mountain of money on the table. I had a client once, it absolutely killed me. They were complaining about their conversion rate and everything. It was when I first onboarded them, and I said, okay, well, what do you do to acquire leads? Oh, well, we have a free consultation. I'm like, okay, what else do you do? They were a contracting company. I guess I have to read the context in there. And I was like, okay, a free consultation. I was like, well, your competitor over here gives a guarantee of the project being completed in 4 weeks. Your competitor over here gives a lead magnet of signing up right now for a consultation and getting $5,000 off on their project. And of course they said, oh, well, we're not going to give them $5,000 off. And I'm like, you realize that's a retail arbitration kind of situation that they have going on there. They just tack on an extra $5,000 to the bill, making it seem like they get the 5 off when they take the 5 off at the end, right? And then I'm like, okay, well, what happens in your nurturement sequence? What do you mean? Well, when we get a lead, we oftentimes come into the office the next morning and reach out to the lead, and by the time they've already found who they're looking for. And I'm like, well, when do the leads come in? Well, most of the time when we're out of office, and you have nothing set up to nurture them in between. Like, I can understand if you don't want to take a call for a lead when you're out of office, but if you have nothing to nurture that lead that just came in wanting to give you money, and you're going to let your competitor who's willing to answer the call at 8 o'clock, you get where I'm going. I don't need to go down the rabbit hole. It kills me that systems aren't in place sometimes for businesses. And equally, businesses can say, I'm not at work, it's 5 p.m., I'm clocking out, and I'm not working a lead. I've worked leads at 3 o'clock in the morning. I've woken up out of bed. You think I'm lying, but I'm not. My wife would tell you. I wake up in the middle of the night if my phone is ringing, and if I see it could be a possible, or if it's a current customer with hey, how can I help you? I swear. Why? Because I don't leave money on the table. But in case I didn't hear my phone ring, I have all types of lead magnet nurture campaigns, because it's important to nurture these leads as they come in. Because if not, they're going to go to the next marketer, the next agency, because I'm in a super competitive space. And I bet you are too. And think about this. Every lead you've captured through a paid ad, lead magnet, or website form, it costs you something, whether it was dollars, time, or effort. It was an investment on your part. And if you don't have a strategy to consistently follow up with that lead, then all you've done is pay to get ignored. But when you nurture those leads through strategic automated messaging, you stay on top of their mind, building credibility and gradually moving people towards becoming customers. And follow-up isn't annoying when it's done right. It's expected. And in fact, your prospects are waiting for someone to lead them with confidence, clarity, and value. Now, this is where automation becomes your secret weapon, because you can't manually follow up with hundreds or thousands of leads manually, but your systems can. Email and SMS nurture campaigns should be automated, personalized, and sequenced to deliver value over time. The key is not just sending messages, it's sending the right messages at the right time. Automation lets you scale your follow-up while making each person feel like you're speaking to them directly. And that's important. High converting nurture sequence begins with a strong onboarding or welcome series. This is where you generally deliver the lead magnet or resource that they requested. You introduce yourself and your business, and you start to build a relationship. This first impression is critical. You will always be remembered by your first impression, how someone saw you the first time. It should ooze value, clarity, and confidence. From there, your campaign should flow like a conversation. Share your best insights, highlight success stories, address objections before they're raised, present your offer when it makes sense, not like a hard sell, but as a logical next step for someone who's now more informed and now more emotionally invested. Let's say someone downloaded a lead magnet called the 7 Mistakes That Kill Local Business Marketing. Your email sequence might look something like this. Day 1, deliver the guide and set expectations. Day 2, expand on mistake number 3 with a deeper teaching. Day 4, share real-world examples of someone who fixed that mistake using your service. Day 6, ask a thought-provoking question and invite a reply. Day 8, present a time-sensitive offer with a clear CTA. That's how you turn cold leads into warm conversations and conversations into conversions. SMS follows the same principle, but with more concise, urgent tonality. Text messages work best for reminders, time-sensitive promotions, appointment confirmations, and micro content like tips or links to short videos, because it's a more intimate channel. SMS should be used sparingly and with clear purpose. A well-timed text can dramatically lift your conversion rates, especially when paired with an email campaign. Now, of course, there are common mistakes to avoid. One of the biggest is sending generic, irrelevant content that feels more like sales and spam than value. Another is overloading your audience with too many messages in a short time frame. This triggers unsubscribers and damages trust. And likewise, failing to segment your list by their personal individualized interest or behavior means you're sending the same messages to everyone, which waters down its impact. And perhaps the worst mistake? Not having a nurture sequence at all. So many businesses go through the effort of acquiring a lead and then silence. It's like planting a seed and never watering it. Effective email and SMS campaigns are about building a relationship at scale. You're educating, you're inspiring, you're reassuring, and when the time is right, you're inviting action. And this is how real businesses win, not with flashy tricks, but with systems that nurture, convert, and compound over time. If you want your leads to become customers and your customers to become loyal advocates, then your nurture campaigns must be non-negotiable. They're not just follow-ups, they're the heartbeat of your sales engine that drive sales to your business. We spent a long time talking about what seems like theory. So I want to spend some time on a real-world case study with one of my clients that pulls this theory into reality for you in your mind. To why all of this is important and why it all connects, all the dots together. Backyard Environments is a high-end outdoor living design and build firm located in Northlake, Texas. They came to me with a strong reputation and a high-value service, but their online presence and marketing systems were lagging far behind their actual capabilities. And what they needed was a full transformation, both in how they presented themselves to the world and how they attracted and converted new customers. Backyard Environments had two major challenges. First, they needed a website that didn't just look good but performed well. One that educated visitors, generated leads, and reflected the premium quality of their work. Second, they needed a modern multi-channel marketing system to drive consistent qualified leads to their business. Their ideal clients weren't impulse buyers. These were families planning large-scale backyard renovations with custom pools, pergolas, and outdoor kitchens. That meant a longer buying cycle, higher consideration, and more trust-building touchpoints. The goal was to become the only name that came to mind in the Dallas-Fort Worth area when someone thought of transforming their backyard. The strategy began with a complete website redesign engineered around 4 core functions: showcasing the range of services, using strategic calls to action to drive conversions, look stunning across all devices, and keep visitors engaged with subtle animations and a highly intuitive layout. This site would be the central hub where all paid traffic landed, so it had to both inform and convert with precision. Now, in parallel, I deployed a full stack marketing campaign that spanned across Google search ads, Facebook, and Instagram cold targeting. And also we had strategic retargeting ads on the end. On Google, we focused on high-intent localized keywords like outdoor kitchen builders near me and custom pool contractors in Northlake, Texas. This allowed us to intercept buyers at the moment where they were searching for exactly what Backyard Environments offered. On Facebook and Instagram, we pivoted towards brand awareness. Knowing the price point and timeline of their services wouldn't convert cold leads immediately, we focused on visibility and recognition, ensuring that Backyard Environments was top of mind when those leads were ready. We also implemented retargeting ads that brought interested visitors back into the funnel, this time with proof, photos, videos, and testimonials that showcased real results in past projects. This content added a layer of emotional connection and reinforced trust, converting maybe later into, it wouldn't hurt to book a quote. Now, to handle the influx of interest, I integrated a CRM and a custom-built email automation platform that instantly notified the sales team when a form was submitted, while at the same time, leads received automated follow-ups that delivered value, answered common questions, and built rapport. We even created an upsell automation campaign for past customers, increasing the lifetime value of each relationship. The sales team could now see every stage of the lead's journey, which they couldn't before, and this ensured personalized follow-up that made prospects feel seen, heard, and prioritized. The numbers spoke for themselves. Over the course of just 4 months, our campaigns generated 59 verified new customers with a total ad spend of only $8,268. That's a cost per acquired customer of $140.13. Each new customer brought in an average net profit of $25,000. This resulted in a total estimated net profit of $1.466 million in 4 months, directly attributed to these campaigns. Now, beyond this, we drove over 10,000 website visitors, gained 540 new social followers, and saw over 8,000 social media engagements. Now, while we didn't include the 100 plus phone calls and dozens of Facebook chats in our core data, because the attribution ambiguity, it would have been complicated. Now, if their product wasn't such a hard sell, because you got to understand a potential customer is thinking about their backyard being torn up for 4 or 5 months, and they're spending 50, 100 grand to have this happen for their products that they're offering, the customer acquisition cost would have been way lower. But equally, the profit margin on that customer would be way lower as well. That's why these 59 new customers in 4 months wasn't just advantageous. This blew the lid off of their profitability margins for what they had seen in prior segments or prior seasons, especially since they're a small family-run company and not a huge business. This campaign also reinforced several of the core principles we've covered throughout this entire lecture. First, it proved the undeniable value of understanding your unit economics. With a $25,000 average profit per customer and $140 acquisition cost, it was an easy win. Second, it showed how strategic paid advertising, when paired with a conversion optimized website and retargeting system, can produce enormous returns. And finally, it emphasized the importance of infrastructure, because without automation, a great CRM and follow-up systems in place, many of these leads would have fell through the cracks rather than converting over to becoming customers. Backyard Environments now stands as a dominant force in their market, with a brand that matches the quality of their work, a marketing system that produces reliable results, and a website that sells for them 24/7. Now, this wasn't just magic. It wasn't magic at all. It was a strategy, implementation, and relentless optimization. And this case study is one of many that I have for all the clients that I've worked with over the years. And it's proof that when you combine expert positioning with well-built systems, real business transformation isn't just possible. It's predictable. So by now, you've been exposed to some of the foundational strategy systems and tools that drive predictable and profitable business growth. But knowledge alone is only half the equation. Execution is what turns strategy into results. And when it comes to execution, choosing the right partner to help guide that process is critical. In a world of overflowing with self-proclaimed gurus and armchair experts, but I do have an armchair here. It's hilarious. Offering recycled theory, what sets me apart is not just what I know, but it's what I've done in the real world. I hold a bachelor's degree in business administration with a concentration in marketing, providing strong academic foundation in consumer behavior, digital strategy, branding, and market analysis. That education was later sharpened for me through a master's degree in management and leadership. And that's where I truly learned to lead projects, people, and organizations through clear, measurable outcomes. These credentials aren't just pieces of paper. They're proof of a rigorous commitment that I have for mastering both the science and psychology of business growth. See, I'm aware that what matters most to you isn't just what I've studied, it's also what I've delivered. And over the years, I've had the privilege of working directly with more than 200 businesses across a wide range of industries throughout our nation. From local service providers to e-commerce stores, contractors to consultants, I've helped business owners break through plateaus, streamline operations, and scale the revenue using the exact frameworks you've been learning in this lecture and a lot of others. These aren't cookie-cutter tactics. They are battle-tested systems, like I've said before, tailored, though, to each business, each market, and each challenge. I've also had the honor of partnering with respected organizations in our country like the Small Business Development Centers of America, the YWCA, and People Incorporated, where I have provided strategic consulting, training seminars, and mentorship to entrepreneurs at all stages of growth. These partnerships reflect my deep commitment to empowering business owners, not just with information, but with transformation. I've taught classrooms full of small business founders how to create strategic marketing plans, interpret their financials, and build brands that command attention. And I bring that same clarity and care to every client relationship I take on. But what truly separates me from others in this space of marketing and business strategy is a relentless focus on results. I don't deal in vague advice or fluff-filled motivational sound bites. I deliver concrete, actionable strategies that are backed by data, logic, and proof. Every tactic I recommend has either been implemented successfully in my own campaigns or tested in real businesses for my clients, generating real revenue. I don't operate from theory. While it's a great foundation, I operate from experience. And my goal isn't just to help you feel more confident in your business. It's actually to equip you with the tools to become more capable, more strategic, and more profitable. Whether you're struggling to generate leads, or you're unsure how to position your brand, or overwhelmed by marketing noise, see, I bring a clear, structured approach that cuts through the confusion and delivers measurable outcomes. Now, if taking this challenge head on seems like it might be too much for you to handle with all of the other obligations you already have on your shoulders running your business, and you're looking for a partner who won't just hand you ideas but will stand beside you and help you implement systems, you found that partner. This isn't about hyper hope, it's about a proven path executed with precision and backed by someone who has walked this walk time and time again. When you're ready to take your business seriously, scale predictably, and stop guessing, just know that I'm here. That's all I want you to do. I'm fully invested in your success and equipped with the tools to help you win. And with that being said, you've now been given the core frameworks, insights, and real-world strategies that drive consistent, scalable growth in today's market, not yesterday's market. This wasn't just a lecture, it was a transfer of knowledge that has helped me generate millions in revenue for my clients across industries, and now it's in your hands and in your brain. What happens next is entirely up to you. But if you're serious about growth, momentum begins the moment you take action. So take action.